Today I want to talk about a topic that I feel is very important and I get questions all the time about. And that is, what is your method to getting in shape? What is your method to becoming fit, getting the body that you want? And of course you can look at, the very surface level things like, going to the gym, eating better, right? Like, of course, those things matter. But I'm gonna tell you the number one factor for me and for pretty much anyone that's successful in anything, they're probably gonna tell you something similar. And that's simply consistency. Consistency is king. I've been training since I was 15. I'm 32 now. So I've put many years into this game. And I would say probably around maybe year 4 or 5, that's when people started to ask, yo, like, what do you do? What do you do? And at that point in my fitness journey, I didn't really know what I was doing. I was 15, 16, 17, early 20s. I was just lifting. I was just going to the gym. I was just showing up. I was just being there. I didn't have the proper structure, but I had the consistency, already started to lay that down, already started to have those habits and that discipline. And that's what allowed me to continue on. And years later, actually build a physique that I have thousands of followers on social media. I was able to build my Instagram, build my business because of my consistency through fitness. And that kind of related into other aspects of my life as well, with my business, with posting, with all that type of stuff, right? So consistency is king. And to give you even more insight about all that, I'm hitting a full body lift right now. So I'm gonna get this set in real quick. It's just a warm up set. And we'll get back to the conversation, but one thing you guys want to make sure you don't do is what I just did. So you saw how I squat facing the camera, facing away from the squat rack. I was just doing that because I'm on camera. It's not wise to do when you're actually training. You want to face inside the squat rack so it's a little bit safer. But anyway, what I was getting at was a little bit of a history about the way that I've done things in the past and throughout the years. And I've tried different splits. I've tried different diets. I've tried this, that, and the other. We've had clients that have tried different workout splits, clients that have tried different diets, based whether they're vegan or, they want to do paleo, they want to do keto, which I don't really suggest you do those things, but you can do those things. And what we find is that no matter what workout split that you do, no matter, what diet that you do, the people that see success are the ones that stick it through and are consistent. That's how you start to actually see the results, right? And a lot of times what happens in fitness, especially now in this new age with all the science-based stuff, which is very important. I went to school at Ohio State with exercise science as my degree, so I believe in that science-based approach. And you need to have elements of science-based and practical. You want to also be practical. Everything can't just be science-based because you're not a research paper, you are you. So you also have some practicality in there as well. But because there's so much information, people kind of just hop around from all these different type of strategies, all these different type of methods, because they see that, this specific method worked for this person, this specific method worked for that person. And guess what? Multiple methods can work. But I guarantee that in both of those scenarios, or in all those scenarios where people saw success, the one thing that was a constant was they kept showing up and they kept being consistent. And that's what I want to get my point across to you guys, is that consistency is king. If you want to try a carnivore diet, do your thing, go for it. If you like it, that's cool. That's not my style. My style is a more balanced nutritional approach, but both of those can work because you both both of those scenarios can put you in a calorie deficit, right? So if you're trying to lose weight, either one of those can work. You got to do what works best for you and be consistent. I see it so many times, man. People, they just hop around from this diet to that diet, and they're never consistent in the process, and they're wondering why it's not working. It's because you're not giving things time, you're not being patient, you're not nurturing the process, and you're not showing up for yourself day in and day out, right? So, it drives me crazy sometimes. Next set, or first set, really. I'm gonna do it properly this time. Ooh, that set felt pretty good. Just gonna go a little heavier. Probably do this for 2 more sets. And then we're gonna go on to upper body movement next. But hopefully you guys are getting where I'm coming from, right? I'm gonna keep drilling it in to your guys' head. It's not about a specific, person that you see online doing their workout. It's not about doing my workout. It's about consistency, time and time again. Of course, there's ways to optimize. Of course, there's ways that you can do things better. But I'll tell you for sure, you could have the best program in the world, written by the most intelligent individual with the most experience of all time. It could be right there in front of you. But if you don't be consistent with it, you're not gonna see results, right? So keep showing up for yourself, and as you get consistent, then you can start to figure out how to start to take everything to the next level, how to optimize. A lot of times what happens is people try to have all this information, and it's paralysis by analysis, right? You have all this stuff that you're looking at, trying to make everything perfect. You're not even taking action, or you're just being inconsistent. And I see it so often with some of our clients that we've had until we can change their mindset, is they're trying to make everything perfect. And it's like an all or nothing approach. And it's hard for me to understand because I've always been disciplined, but I have to take a step back and try to put myself in their shoes and your shoes. And I can see how you feel like you might be wasting your time, which if you're doing horrible workouts and everything, you kind of could be, but at least you're starting to build that discipline, you're building that consistency, and you'll start to figure out what works best for you and what you can take from other people like myself that have been doing it for years, start to implement it into your routine and your regimen to make things better. But don't try to major in the minors, right? Don't try to have all these things perfectly lined up that are just surface level stuff, or even like icing on the cake, without having the foundation, without having the cake itself ready to go. Supplements, that's another great example. I hear people saying all the time, well, like, what supplement should I take to lose weight? And I'm like, well, first off, let's address your nutrition and your calories first. But no, they're thinking that a supplement's gonna come in and change something. No. Step one is figuring out what we need to do with our calories and our macros to lose weight. Supplements can just be icing on the cake, okay? Same with the whole workout stuff, like, oh, how much cardio, how much lifting. That's important. It's good to have that structure and good to have that understanding. But if you're not going to the gym, then why are we even talking about this? If you're not consistently already going to the gym, if you're not showing up, why are we talking about this? You need to first have a foundation and discipline, showing up and being consistent. All right, hyping myself up. I'm actually gonna move on to a different leg exercise. I'm gonna do some step back lunges. Probably just gonna use dumbbells because maybe on that like fourth set, kind of felt a lot of tightness going on in my inner thigh. I'm doing a sumo variation, so you're gonna feel it emphasized more here, the inner thigh muscles, groin muscles. And when I was going out, I felt some tightness there. So I'm just gonna be mindful because I don't want any setbacks right now. Body's feeling pretty good overall. So no need to push it there. Something doesn't feel right. Gotta be mindful in certain scenarios. So I'm gonna go ahead and switch it up. But I do wanna give you a little bit of a story about my own journey and the whole idea of consistency and trying different things and whatnot. So I told you guys, I started lifting when I was 15 and I didn't really know what I was doing. Mostly it was for sport, for basketball and football at the time. So I was just lifting as a part of the team, doing what the coaches told us to do, which now I know wasn't the most intelligent programming, but nonetheless, they got us started with our foundation and our consistency and our discipline and instilled those habits within us. So I have much appreciation for that. But beginning, it was about basketball, right? It was about football. So the training was more towards that. Once I was done with playing ball, that's when I really started to see more growth because I started to do less running around from sports and more just focusing on hypertrophy style lifting. So muscle bodybuilding type lifting. And that's when I started to see more results. But at that time, I was doing a bro split, which if you guys know what that means, it's just in a single session, you're doing a single muscle group. So I would have a chest day, I would have a leg day, I would have a back day, I would have a shoulder day, I'd have an arm day. So, and that would just be for the whole week, right? So there's way less frequency. You're just hitting everything in one day, tearing it apart in that single day and then hitting it not until the next week. And now, as I'm more educated and I'm more advanced, I know that that's not the most intelligent way to train, but I saw great results on the bro split because I was so consistent. I showed up every day. I didn't miss a workout. I'm not even joking. Like, I really didn't miss a workout. I was so committed. So because of my consistency, even though I wasn't doing the most optimal split, I still saw great results. Could it have been better? Yes, now I know that, but still, I saw some great results at that time. That's where my foundation was. It wasn't until maybe, I would say probably like, maybe like 5 years into my journey or so when I started to realize and have more understanding that more frequency throughout the week is beneficial. And a lot of times if you're doing, upwards of 7, 8, 10 total sets of a single muscle in a single session, a lot of that ladder towards the end is junk volume and you're not getting that much out of it, and you could be getting more out of that same number of sets spread out throughout the week. More, that would be better for you. So once I started to understand that and implemented that, guess what? I saw good results with that as well because I was consistent. I showed up. And fast forward to where we are now in my life. Now I only lift 3 times per week. And I haven't lost my gains. I haven't lost my strength because I've programmed it strategically. But now, still, I'm consistent. I keep showing up. I have other days that I focus on more cardiovascular type exercise, conditioning type work. But the constant is my consistency. That's what's allowed me to get where I'm at now. And that's what's allowed me to see success in other endeavors outside of the gym. All right, so But yeah, that's pretty much it for the video. I know it's not flashy. It's nothing, you know, there's no secret workout. There's no secret diet. The secret is in you showing up every day, you know. And if you fall off, get back on. That's what you got to do to see success. All right, y'all. See you in the next video. Peace.